Right now, you are never more than a few steps from water. There's a tap in your kitchen, one in your bathroom, probably one in your office. You don't think about water, you just have it. But strip all of that away. Go back 50,000 years. Put yourself in open landscape with no map, no bottle, no river in sight, and water stops being something you have. It becomes the only thing you're thinking about, because the human body doesn't give you much time. 3 days. That's roughly how long you have before dehydration stops being uncomfortable and starts being fatal. Your blood thickens. Your organs begin to struggle. Your thinking goes foggy at exactly the moment you need it sharpest. And the cruelest part, the landscape doesn't tell you where the water is. You have to read it. And ancient humans learned to read it better than almost anything else they ever mastered. The first thing they learned to read was the land itself. Water is heavy. It always moves downhill, and it always collects at the lowest point it can find. So if you're lost and desperate, you stop walking and you look. Valley floors, dry riverbeds, the base of cliff faces where runoff pools after rain. You don't search randomly, you search downward. But here's the problem. In dry seasons, those obvious places dry up first. The rivers shrink, the pools evaporate, and the places everyone knows about become the places with nothing left. So ancient humans learned to look for the signs that most people would walk straight past. Vegetation was the most reliable one. Plants can't lie. They grow where the water is, and certain plants grow only where water is close to the surface, even when you can't see it. Dense green patches in an otherwise dry landscape. Specific trees like willows and cottonwoods whose roots need permanent moisture to survive. A line of darker, taller grass cutting across open ground. These weren't decorations, they were directions. Follow that line of green far enough and almost always, water was waiting underneath or just ahead. Animals were the second signal. Every animal on the landscape needs water on roughly the same schedule humans do, and they already know where it is. They've been finding it their entire lives, and their parents found it before them. So ancient humans watched. They watched which direction birds flew at dusk, because birds drink before they roost, and they fly straight to water when they do. They followed animal trails, not randomly, but specifically the ones that converged. A single trail might lead anywhere, but when 3 or 4 trails from different directions all merge into one path heading the same way, that path almost always ends at water. The animals had already done the searching. You just had to read what they left behind. But sometimes the land gave you nothing. No green, no animals, no obvious low point, just dry open ground and a body that was running out of time. And this is where ancient humans did something that still impresses researchers today. They dug, not randomly. They dug in the outer bends of dry riverbeds where water moves slowest and sinks deepest into the sand. They dug at the base of cliff faces where rock forces underground water upward. They dug where morning dew collected heaviest, because dew follows moisture in the ground below, and often, a meter or 2 down, in ground that looked completely dead from the surface, they found it. Water that had been sitting there for weeks, invisible, waiting. You had to know it was there to find it, and knowing that came from generations of people passing the knowledge down, one rainy night around a fire at a time. Because here's what made ancient humans genuinely remarkable at this. It wasn't just individual skill, it was stored knowledge. A person alive today might know 1 or 2 water signs. An elder in a hunter-gatherer group 40,000 years ago might carry in their memory dozens of specific locations across hundreds of miles of landscape. Seasonal springs that only ran for 6 weeks a year, rock depressions that filled during storms and held water for months afterward, underground sources that only revealed themselves through a specific type of moss growing above them. That knowledge was the most valuable thing a group possessed. More valuable than any tool, more valuable than any weapon, because tools can be remade. Water sources that you don't know about can kill you, and when they truly couldn't find it, they extracted it. Desert-adapted groups learned to dig up certain roots and tubers that store liquid inside their flesh. They collected morning dew by dragging absorbent grasses across vegetation before sunrise and wringing them out. Some groups in coastal areas learned to collect rainwater that pooled in rock hollows above the tide line. Fresh water sitting in rock, surrounded by ocean, invisible unless you already knew to look up. So here's what actually kept ancient humans alive when the water ran out. It wasn't luck. It wasn't instinct. It was accumulated knowledge, passed down so carefully and for so long that entire landscapes became readable. Every dry riverbed, every line of willow trees, every bird flying low at dusk was a sentence in a language it took thousands of years to learn. You turn on a tap and water comes out. You have never once in your life felt the specific calculation of 3 days, the quiet math of how far you can walk versus how long your body will hold. And you haven't, because somewhere back in your line, someone learned to read the land well enough that you never had to.